what is the mission of everything that we do. It is not just sitting down here and recording episodes. It is not just teaching an epic nurse coaching program. It is a movement. It is a true movement in nursing and in healthcare and in advancing this field. What's up, nurses, nurse coaches? Welcome back to the Nurse Coach Collective podcast. We are taking a small break, a detour this week to interrupt our regularly scheduled content because we got a question for you.
Do you want to be featured on the Nurse Coach Collective podcast?
Yeah.
I know the answer is already yes.
Yes. Would you like to come join us, be a guest on our podcast? We are so excited for this next chapter and evolution of what this podcast will become to include you and your stories and more of our nurse colleagues and our nurse coach colleagues. I just feel that it will well round this podcast in such an awesome and robust way and is a big part of why we started doing this in the first place.
100%. Yeah. I think there's much to be gleaned from our experience and from us talking about others' experience. But there's nothing like, having someone who is deeply involved in a certain avenue of nurse coaching and having them share their experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about the who we're looking for, why this is important, what it will look like for you to be featured on the podcast, and how to get started, how to get involved, how to apply.
The who, the why, the what, and the how.
So from the who, we are looking for any practicing nurse coach. So if you have graduated from a program and you are currently practicing as a nurse coach, we are looking for you. We are excited and ready to talk to you. Additionally, if you are a student of the Nurse Coach Collective currently, then we would also value your experience as well. At first, we were like,
we thought we were just going to talk to graduates and
graduates only,
really focus on that. But then we had multiple students who are actively in the program, some just starting, some finishing up, reach out after listening to the podcast and be like, I got to come on the podcast and I got to talk about what this experience has been like. And light bulbs went off. I was like, oh, that's another really great idea, because we can, as you said, talk about what it's like to be a nurse going through the program, what it's like to be a nurse coach in training. But why not hear from some real nurses going through that journey and get to have some more dynamic conversations about that?
Straight from the source.
Yes. So
Who? Recap us here.
Recap. If you are a nurse moving through the Nurse Coach Collective program, you're training to become a nurse coach and you want to be featured, let us know. And if you're a graduate, if you're already a nurse coach practicing in truly any realm of nurse coaching, nothing is off the table, and you want to spend some time with us and be a guest, let us know. This goes for the graduates of the Nurse Coach Collective program. It also goes for graduates of any program out there. If you are a nurse coach, if you are a professional, you're practicing full-time, part-time, in any capacity, we would love to hear from you and get to include your story and your journey.
Why do we want to talk to you? First off, it's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to connecting one-to-one with you in this space because I want to learn. I love to learn. We just had calls today, support hours with students of our programs, and it's every single time I just get to learn so much by simply being in conversation with you all. And you are going to be practicing and doing things that maybe I have never, ever thought of. And if I've never thought of it, I can guarantee you that there are hundreds, if not thousands of other nurse coaches out there who have never thought of that as well. And so it's going to provide a deeper level of learning. It's going to provide inspiration. It's going to provide deep experience.
What's it not going to provide?
What's it not going to provide? It's going to provide a ton of value. And so it's going to provide value to us, but also to the entire Nurse Coach Collective community. And that's really why we want to bring others on.
Yeah, and I think value no matter where you're at in the process, right? So if you're a nurse who's just learning about nurse coaching for the first time and you're still figuring out like what could this look like in real practice, having these real tangible stories, getting to hear from real life professional nurse coaches is going to make all the difference. And same thing goes if you've been a nurse coach for 10 years. we still get inspired and get motivated from hearing new and different perspectives and new and different ideas. I think a theme that has come up on our podcast many times before is this concept of like, you only know what you know, or you don't know what you don't know. And how many times do you and I connect with somebody and we're like, I never knew you could do that as a nurse coach, or like, whoa, you're the first nurse coach I've ever known to break into that field or to get into that sector of healthcare. We want to be able to talk about those not from a me telling you a story or you telling me a story, but instead, let's bring those dang nurse coaches on and let them tell their story and how someone else might choose to follow in their footsteps if they want to.
That's right. Yeah. And that kind of brings up another idea as to why, yes, it's experiential learning. Yes, it's inspirational. Yes, it's hearing their story, but it's also providing a blueprint. We just started watching the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary.
It's very good so far.
It's very good so far.
And it makes me want to go like this.
Yeah. And what I really took away is that he found others who were doing what he wanted to be doing, and he used them as a blueprint for how to achieve that. And that's something that either knowingly or unknowingly, you and I have done over and over again. We find somebody who are like, yeah, I want to be doing that. And then we kind of model after it and use their pathway as a blueprint. And what's beautiful about that is it like accelerates your process, because instead of you having to like start from absolute ground zero, you get to have a blueprint to follow after. So if you want to be like doing that in your practice, if you want to start a wellness center, if you want to host retreats, if you want to start a private practice, if you want to create a position for yourself inside of a hospital, if you want to create a Zenden, if you want to work for an insurance company, hell, if you want to start an insurance company, like there's probably a nurse coach who has done that you can follow their blueprint for success and model that in your own life and build off of that. And what that does is when one person lifts up, everybody freaking lifts up. And that's what I really think this will do, is it'll elevate not only the individual's experience, but also the entire collective experience, because we're all going to grow and learn and improve together.
Yeah, I like that, because then we have this ability to kind of open each other's eyes to new possibilities and new perspectives, while at the same time providing that mentorship and guidance and blueprint, even from afar, right? Even just through watching a video or listening to an episode, the moment that you know that there is someone else out there who is doing this thing and it becomes possible and they have paved the way, is almost like the moment when we as humans give ourselves permission to think and believe, that is possible for me. There is a path that I can follow, and it becomes that much easier.
Like when you can see it and picture it, it becomes so real. Like when you can see it so vividly that you can touch it, then it's achievable. And listening to somebody else who has gone before you, who has done that, makes that, like, accelerates that process.
Yeah, it makes it easier to visualize. You're no longer visualizing, conjuring up something from nothing. Mm-hmm. You are starting from somewhere with this idea, with this person who's been successful in this realm, and then simply tweaking it and crafting it and customizing it to make it your own.
So that's why we want to bring you on. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to come on to the Nurse Coach Collective podcast? First off, it's an awesome opportunity for us to connect.
Who wouldn't want to hang out with me and Peter? Yes. Come on, we're fun. We're
That's
exciting.
What I'm saying. For sure.
I like hanging out with you.
I like hanging out with you too. Yeah. And we also will guaranteed almost like hanging out with you as well. So that's one reason. Other reason would be that you will, be providing value to the community. Why do me and you sit down and do this on the reg? It's actually a surprising amount of work.
Mm-hmm. More than we anticipated.
More than we anticipated. There's a lot
Shout
of back end stuff.
Shout out to every other nurse coach we know who runs a podcast. We now understand what goes into it.
Give it away completely for free. The reason is that it comes back, and what you give, you get. And so that's like just one of those karmic truths that all of us know in our minds. But when we do it, like, we begin to understand it for real.
Yeah.
And like, who are you going to be giving back to? You're going to be giving back to yes, the thousands of nurse coaches who are part of the Nurse Coach Collective, we also have close to 90,000 nurses on our mailing list you'll be like being able to directly tell your story to, your experience to share your experience with. And all of us nurses, we're teachers, right? We love to teach. We love to share those parts of ourselves that we believe will benefit others. So like if that's you, then know that that will be very, very well received by literally thousands of nurses, of nurse coaches, and they will take that and they will listen deeply to what it is that you have to say.
And isn't that why we all became nurses, right? Is to help others in a certain capacity. And isn't that why then so many nurses go on to become nurse coaches, is to find these new, perhaps deeper ways to serve and support others. And it's such a beautiful way through your words, through your story, through your life and professional experience to be able to give that gift to others. You know, we always say like your words, your story will resonate with exactly who it needs to. I can't tell you exactly who that's going to be, who's going to listen to that episode and you know, the fireworks are going to go off and they're going to be like, yes, that's what I needed to hear. But I can tell you that that's going to happen for some, if not hundreds, if not thousands of listeners to this podcast.
Of your fellow colleagues.
And what a cool opportunity to have.
What a cool freaking opportunity. I think that's amazing. And if you don't have any experience with this type of medium recording, I promise it's going to be relaxed. Me and Heather are like hosts, so we'll make you feel confident. We'll support you. We'll give you a little bit of background information for like how to show up confidently. And the conversation will be dynamic. It'll be relaxed, and he'll help you to get there. So if you don't have any experience in this realm, know that that is okay. We simply want you on here.
Peter's a bit of a master of taking the technically complicated that could seem a little too overwhelming for most and like simplifying it down so that anyone who wants to be a part of it will be able to find a way to join.
And if you've ever taken our course, if you can Zoom, you can podcast.
If you can Zoom it, you can podcast it. Yeah. And I think the final piece there on the, you know, the what and the why of all of this is simply to remember that what is the Nurse Coach Collective at its core? What is the mission of everything that we do? It is not just sitting down here and recording episodes. It is not just teaching an epic nurse coaching program and helping all these nurses get board certified. It is a movement. It is a true movement in nursing and in healthcare and in advancing this field professionally forward. And being a part of these episodes, sharing your stories, sharing the amazing work that you do, that's all a part of us together, linking arms, having these super powerful conversations and getting to share and getting to grow the movement.
Elevating the well-being of all nurses and our patients, one podcast at a time.
Nice. I love it.
So that's the who, that's the why. We kind of covered pretty much the what. The what will be sitting down, you know, having 30 to 45 minute conversations with us. We'll hook you up with everything that you need in the back end, so you don't really have to worry about it. Just show up looking reasonably put together from the top up, from the waist up, and
probably
well
pretty
lit,
obvious.
be in pretty good
it's
shape.
Not going to require you coming to our studio/living room and pulling up a chair, though that would be awesome if we could pull that off. These will be virtual,
maybe for our Northwest folks.
Conversations. Yeah.
Or if we're traveling somewhere. Yeah, why not?
I mean, hey, if we can pull it off in person, even better. But no obligation on that. For now, we'll keep it easy, and we'll get you set up with all the tech to come and have these fun virtual conversations with us.
Final point there is the how. So like, how can you apply or sign up? So if you are part of the Nurse Coach Collective Facebook group or the Transformative Nurse Coaching Facebook group, if you are on the mailing list, there's certain segments where we're going to reach out to you guys. Like if you're graduates or current students of the program, we'll send it out to you. And then you can simply apply. We'll have a form for y'all to fill out, give a little bit of details about why you want to be featured, what it is that you want to share, what you're doing in your practice. So that way we can pull from a variety of different experiences, feature a variety of different nurse coaches from different backgrounds, different walks of life, from different geographical areas to really create a well-rounded, comprehensive view of what it looks like to be a nurse coach inside the entirety of the spectrum.
Which is kind of an impossible feat, but I think we're gonna
give it a go.
We're gonna have a dang good time trying it out and covering as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, we got 52 weeks in a year, so I guess that's a lot of ground. You know, it's a lot of nurse coaches we could cover, a lot of people we could.
That is a lot of ground. Yep. Awesome. Yep. So that is our big ask for you this week. The big question, do you want to be a guest on our podcast? Do you want to come join us and be featured? If you do, let us know. We would be absolutely thrilled to get to spend time with you and connect with you. And for the rest of you, get excited because we're going to have some really, really cool, fun future episodes rolling out here in the next weeks and months.
Next few weeks, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I think that's pretty much it. Anything else that you wanted to say?
I think we covered it.
We covered the why, we covered the who, the what, the how. We're good, y'all. That is it. So yeah, look out for that from us. And please, 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 if you are even like thinking about applying, just apply. We want to hear from you and make sure that it's a good fit. And if you're afraid, that probably means that you should get on here because
do it before you're ready.
Do it before you're ready, y'all.
Fearlessness does not mean being without fear. It means being willing to do it anyway. And all you got to do is fill out that survey and we'll help you find out if it'll be a good fit. And I suppose maybe the final thing that we should say is that we have an enormous number of students and nurse coaches in our community, like enormous, like thousands. And I anticipate that we will get lots of interest and lots of surveys returned to us because we have already received dozens and dozens of emails. So if you don't hear back from us, we probably cannot commit at this point to responding to every single person. Definitely not right away. Please don't be offended by our lack of response. If you submitted it, we received it, and we're just going to kind of work through things in order. And when it's time for us to make some moves and have some fun together, we will reach out and let you know.
Awesome. Nurses, nurse coaches, be well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.